Kenji was a worthless chubby boy, destroyed by bullies until one wish before death turned him into the strongest dragon alive. With human emotions and raw power, he must now choose between burning every world that rejected him or saving them all. The cafeteria exploded in cruel laughter as Kenji's lunch tray crashed to the floor, rice splattering across his uniform like evidence of his worthless existence. Ryo held up his phone, capturing every humiliating second. "Check it out! The walking marshmallow is trying to eat like a human again," he announced, causing nearby students to swarm like vultures, sensing a brokey about to get his daily L. Kenji's face burned with shame as phones appeared from every direction. Turning his breakdown into viral entertainment, his crush Yuki emerged from the crowd, and hope flickered briefly in his chest until she burst into laughter. "Oh wow, he's actually crying. That's so pathetic, it's almost an art form," she giggled, destroying the last piece of his heart. Within minutes, the video dominated social media with more views. Every notification felt like a knife twisting deeper into his soul, each comment section becoming his personal torture chamber. That evening, Kenji sat alone in his room, writing his final letter with shaking hands while planning his grand finale on the school rooftop. As he stepped toward the edge, a massive truck slammed into the building below. Concrete chunks flew upward, striking his head with crushing force. In his fading consciousness, one desperate wish formed: to become something nobody could ever hurt again, because apparently being a human punching bag wasn't working out. Everything went black, but something golden stirred within the darkness. Kenji's eyes snapped open to find himself staring at silver claws instead of human hands. His reflection in a crystal-clear stream revealed shimmering scales where pale skin used to be. A magnificent phoenix with blazing feathers landed beside him, her ancient eyes filled with more concern. "You're awake, little dragon. I'm Arya, and you're in the realm between worlds," she announced. Kenji tried to speak, but only managed a confused growl that sounded like his old attempts at talking to girls. The emotions from his human life crashed through him like a tsunami of pain, loneliness, and anger, proving that even dragon transformation couldn't fix his emotional baggage. Arya's expression darkened fast as she sensed his inner turmoil. "This is unprecedented. Dragons are born with pure instinct, not human feelings. You're like a nuclear reactor powered by teenage drama," she said grimly. "Emotional dragons have obliterated entire civilizations when their feelings got out of control. One cried so hard he flooded 3 continents, which honestly sounds like something you'd do." Kenji's dragon instincts whispered to hunt and dominate like some alpha male podcast, but his human heart begged him to remain kind. Arya stepped back nervously. "We need to find help before you accidentally destroy something important." Kenji's stomach growled like an angry bear demanding breakfast, but every time he spotted a rabbit or deer, his human conscience kicked him hard. "I can't just barbecue Bambi for a snack," he muttered, watching a family of squirrels mock his pathetic hunting skills. 3 days without food left him weaker than his old gym class performance, which was already setting the bar underground. Stumbling through the forest like a discount Bear Grylls, he discovered tiny glowing spirits being devoured by writhing shadow monsters. His protective instincts exploded like a dam bursting. Golden fire erupted from his throat, instantly vaporizing the shadow creatures into harmless smoke. The grateful spirits cheered and offered him magical fruits that tasted better than anything, finally giving him a W after years of collecting L's. "Thank you, brave dragon. These will sustain you without harming any forest creatures," the lead spirit explained, solving his moral dilemma. However, his massive power surge rippled across dimensions miles away. An ancient dragon lord named Valdris lifted his scarred head, sensing an impossible anomaly that shouldn't exist. Interesting. A dragon with emotions just announced itself to the world like an idiot posting their location on social media. Valdris smiled coldly. Time to investigate this abomination before it ruins everything. Arya led Kenji through a shimmering portal into the dragon sanctuary, where young dragons trained in an academy. Massive stone platforms floated in midair while dragons practiced breathing techniques that could melt titanium. "Fresh meat incoming," announced Zara, a crimson dragon whose attitude was sharper than her claws and twice as cutting. The prideful beast circled Kenji like a shark, smelling blood. "Look at this emotional wreck. I've seen wet paper bags with more backbone than this crying catastrophe." The mischievous twins, Kai and Korra, snickered from their perch. "Betty cries rainbows when he's scared." Kai laughed, while Korra added, "His feelings probably have feelings at this point, which is honestly impressive in the worst way possible." Noble Thorn remained silent, but his disgusted expression spoke louder than a Twitter hate mob, clearly placing Kenji in the not worth acknowledging category. During combat training, Kenji's sadness created blizzards that froze entire training grounds. His anger summoned flames hot enough to crack diamond platforms. His brief moment of joy accidentally healed a century-old scar on the academy walls, because apparently his happiness was so rare it had magical properties. The other dragons stared in mixture of awe and terror, finally giving Kenji the attention he always craved. Elder Draken, the ancient academy leader, emerged from the shadows. "You're not just different, young one, you're potentially catastrophic, which somehow makes you both the most interesting and most dangerous student we've ever had." During meditation practice, Kenji's traumatic memories erupted like a volcano of pure emotional destruction, mixed with years of suppressed rage. The vision of Ryo's cruel laughter mixed with Yuki's rejection like the world's worst emotional cocktail, triggering an explosion that obliterated half the training grounds and left a crater. The other dragon students scattered like roaches when someone flips on the lights, proving that even apex predators feared his emotional instability. Zara's earlier bravado evaporated. "Stay away from the emotional time bomb," she whispered, her fear cutting deeper. Feeling rejected again, Kenji fled into the Forbidden Valley. There he discovered Mira, a half-dragon girl whose scales shimmered like starlight and whose smile didn't immediately make him want to crawl into a hole and die. "Your emotions aren't a curse. They're a superpower that could unite all species," Mira explained gently, being the first person to ever call his emotional wreckage anything positive. "Dragons have strength, but you have something they never will. A heart that actually works instead of being a cold, calculating machine." For the first time since reincarnation, Kenji felt understood instead of like a walking disaster waiting to happen. But their moment of connection shattered when shadow figures emerged from the tree line. Valdris's elite scouts had found them, and their leader's eyes glowed. "Found the anomaly. Time for extermination," the scout captain declared, raising claws that promised pain beyond imagination. Because apparently even in dragon form, he couldn't escape getting picked on. If you want to see how this emotional dragon handles elite assassins, you should definitely check out more content like this. Valdris's elite hunters descended like death itself, their leader Korath sneering with the confident, "Surrender, emotional freak, or we'll turn you into the world's most pathetic barbecue," he declared, clearly unaware that Kenji's feelings were about to become everyone's problem. During the chase through Crystal Caverns, Kenji discovered something incredible that made all his years of suffering finally worth it. When he touched Korath's arm, his memories and emotions flooded into the hunter's mind like the world's worst emotional download. The proud warrior experienced every moment of Kenji's bullying, rejection, and crushing loneliness. Korath's eyes widened in horror. "I never knew pain could feel so heavy. How did you survive carrying this much hurt without going completely insane?" 3 more hunters touched Kenji and immediately switched sides, their loyalty cracking, but the power drained Kenji. Mira appeared just as reinforcements surrounded, her scales glowing with desperate determination. "I'll hold them off. You need to escape and fulfill your destiny." "What destiny? I'm just a fat kid who got tired of being everyone's punching bag." Kenji gasped as she pushed him toward a hidden passage. With her final breath, Mira whispered the words that would change everything. The ancient prophecy speaks of an emotional dragon who will either save all worlds or destroy them. That's you, Kenji, and honestly, either option sounds better than whatever the hell your old life was. Her sacrifice hit hard because losing the only person who ever understood him felt worse than all his previous rejections combined. Kenji returned to find the Dragon Academy under siege, with Valdris's forces turning the once peaceful sanctuary into a battlefield. Explosions rocked the floating platforms while students fled in terror, proving that even Dragon Academy couldn't escape the universal constant of violence ruining education. His newfound power to share emotions became the ultimate recruitment tool, like having a cheat code for making friends that actually worked for once. When Zara touched his hand, she experienced his unbreakable determination and transformed from a prideful brat into a fierce warrior goddess. "Let's roast these invaders like they're expired lunch meat," she roared. Noble Thorn experienced Kenji's sense of justice and led a cavalry charge. Together, they drove off Valdris's army, but Elder Draken's expression remained dark. "Your emotional influence is spreading across all realms," the ancient dragon revealed grimly. "You're changing the fundamental nature of dragons everywhere. The gods themselves are taking notice, and they're not sending congratulations cards or participation trophies." The sky split open. The Dragon God Council descended in blinding celestial light. Supreme Dragon Goddess Celestia materialized with power, her presence forcing every dragon to kneel except Kenji, who was apparently too emotionally damaged to follow basic divine protocol. "You are an abomination that threatens cosmic balance," Celestia declared, her voice carrying authority. Your emotional infection spreads fast, corrupting the natural order we spent millennia perfecting while dealing with way less drama. Kenji stood defiant despite his knees shaking mixed with his old anxiety attacks. Emotions don't make dragons weaker, they make us complete. You're basically cosmic boomers afraid of change because feelings make you uncomfortable. The goddess offered two choices: surrender your emotions and become a proper dragon, or face obliteration to prevent universal chaos. Choose wisely, Anomaly. I refuse both options like they're terms of service agreements. Kenji shot back with more confidence than he'd ever possessed as a human. My friends prove that emotional dragons are stronger, not dangerous, and frankly your whole system sounds like it was designed by people who never got hugged as kids. Zara, the twins, and Thorn flanked him with loyalty, proving that friendship really was the ultimate power-up. But thunderous roars announced Valdris arriving with an army that stretched beyond the horizon. I serve the greater good by eliminating this threat. Valdris bellowed, his forces ready for the war that would determine Dragon's future forever. The ultimate battle erupted across dimensions as emotional dragons clashed with traditional forces in warfare. Kenji unleashed his most devastating power, projecting his memories of bullying and rejection onto both armies simultaneously. Valdris' soldiers experienced what it felt like to be powerless and humiliated, causing many to question their cause. Why are we fighting someone who just wanted acceptance instead of a daily beating? One confused warrior muttered, lowering his weapon while having an existential crisis. But Valdris himself remained immune to emotional influence, his ancient programming making him more stubborn. Emotions are weakness, and weakness must be purged. During their climactic duel above the battlefield, Kenji faced an impossible choice. His dragon instincts screamed to obliterate Valdris permanently and solve the problem with violence like every other protagonist. But his human heart refused to become the monster everyone claimed he was destined to be. I could end you right now and prove everyone's point about emotional dragons being dangerous, but that would make me exactly what you think I am. Kenji declared, dodging attacks that shattered floating mountains while maintaining the moral high ground. For those who appreciate this kind of epic emotional storytelling, the Apex Anime Recap community always delivers content this intense while exploring themes deeper than most philosophy classes. Valdris prepared his ultimate attack, forcing Kenji toward a decision that would define dragons forever and determine whether feelings had a place in a universe that seemed allergic to personal growth. Instead of destroying Valdris through violence, Kenji made a choice that shocked everyone, including the Cosmic Peanut Gallery watching from above. He grabbed Valdris with both claws and permanently shared his heart, forcing the ancient dragon to experience human emotions for the first time in millennia. Valdris writhed as feelings crashed through his consciousness. Sadness, joy, fear, and love flooded his mind until tears streamed down his battle-scarred face. What is this strange wetness leaking from my eyes? Is this some kind of biological malfunction? He gasped. Those are called tears, Grandpa. Welcome to having actual feelings instead of being an emotional desert, Kenji replied with satisfaction. Witnessing this miraculous transformation, Celestia realized Kenji represented evolution rather than destruction. You are not an anomaly, but a bridge between worlds that we were too stuck in our ways to recognize. I grant you the title of Emotional Bridge and task you with introducing feelings across all realms, because apparently the universe needs a crash course in basic empathy. Kenji accepted the responsibility, knowing his journey toward acceptance had finally begun. He opened a school where both emotional and traditional dragons could learn together, creating the harmony he always craved while proving that feelings and strength could coexist. But in the final moment, a mysterious portal cracked open, revealing familiar figures from his human world stepping through. Ryo and Yuki appeared with expressions that suggested his old problems were about to become everyone else's new nightmare. Will Kenji face his human bullies as the strongest dragon alive? This is the end of this recap. If you have reached this far, let's confuse the fake fans by commenting RIP Kenji. Also, give this video a like, subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notification bell. See you on the next one. Bye.